Hello, I have a bunch of new makeup here to start testing. So I figured we could test some new makeup launches together today. And at some point I have to take this guy, he's looking shaggy, to the groomer. So I'll have to break in the middle and do that, but we'll apply as much as we can. I always think it's fun to try out these new makeup releases together for the first time and see how they work out initially. And then of course I will give you my full reviews after I've tested these for a longer period of time in future videos. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new, and let's go ahead and get into it. To prep my lips for the lip products I'm applying later in the video, I'm applying the new Peach Glaze flavor that Ole Henriksen just launched in the Pout Preserve Peptide Lip Treatment. To say I absolutely love the Strawberry Sorbet flavor is an understatement. I love it in both the regular and the shimmer version. Now, I've already used this several times, so I have feedback to give you already. This feels comfortable. It's very smoothing. It feels just like the other versions of this. And it has those lip-specific peptides that help restore the pigmentation around the outer perimeter of your lips, which is why my lips are darker around the outside. I always look for Tripeptide 1 in lip products now because that has helped make the pigment around my lips more even and more pronounced. I have to say though that this is not giving it to me the same way the strawberry flavor does. It's such a natural, ripe, juicy strawberry flavor, and that's what I wanted from this, but in peach, the flavor's pretty natural, but it's more like a peach that's almost ripe. It's just not that vibrant, juicy peach that I was hoping for, but it has all the other good qualities. It's just okay as far as the flavor goes. Okay, this is not new, but this is gonna prep my eyelids for the new eye product we're using today. This is the City Beauty Lid Lifting Treatment. I just take a tiny bit and split it between both fingers and apply it to my eyelids and let it sit for at least 60 seconds before I start moving around a lot. It's not as heavy duty as an actual eyelid primer, but it gives a little bit of grip for, you know, say a cream or a liquid or stick shadow. And it evens out the redness and texture a little bit and gives a slight lift to my eyelids, just enough. Because I'm gonna have to leave pretty shortly, I'm gonna do things a little bit out of order because I wanna look somewhat presentable. So I'm gonna go ahead and curl my lashes and apply two different new mascaras, one on each eye. I'm curling my lashes with my Refer 20R lash curler, and on this eye I'm using Kosas Soul Gazer. This is a new mascara with a lot of nice benefits, but I have tried this without any kind of waterproof mascara underneath and my lashes straightened right back out. So today I'm going to test it with a very light waterproof layer underneath. I'm going to use Maybelline Lash Discovery very lightly so I still see the benefits from the Kosas mascara. When I prime my lashes with a light waterproof layer, I don't take it all the way down to my lash line. I basically apply it to the top 3/4 of my lashes just to hold my curl. Now that that's about 70% dry, I'm going to comb through it with my Tweezerman lash comb so that my lashes look nice and natural and clump free so they're ready for the main mascara. So this brush is supposed to grip every lash so that it lifts and defines your lashes. It's weightless and it's supposed to give a fluttery look. And there's a peptide in here that's supposed to create a prime environment for keratin to support your hair's natural growth cycle. So there are nice lash benefits to this mascara too if you wear it regularly. I do get some clumping with this. It happened when I tried it the first time with no waterproof mascara under it that I do need to comb out with a lash comb. That's nothing unusual for me. I have pretty sparse fine lashes. I typically need to comb out, but both times I have tried this mascara with a waterproof layer underneath that normally holds my curl and without, it has weighed my lashes down. So it is not weightless for me, which is kind of a bummer because I was excited about the lash benefits, but I mean, there is hardly any curl here anymore. Okay, this is the new Buxom Lash Extension Lift Mascara, which I have not tried before. I am not putting a waterproof layer under it. It is supposed to give 2 times the lift, length, and curl in one coat with tubing technology, but sometimes tubing mascaras weigh my curl down, so we'll see. It's supposed to not flake or smudge. Neither of these are. There are also so nice beneficial ingredients in here. It has a red clover peptide complex, shea butter, and castor oil. All of those are really good for your lashes. Okay, so instead of an hourglass wand with this one, we have a curved wand with, feels like natural bristles instead of plastic. Just going in with a light layer to start, and so far so good. Now this eye does turn down a little bit more than this eye, so it's probably gonna look like my lashes are falling, but they're actually not. So far, barely had to comb through them. Okay, I'm gonna apply another coat. Okay, I don't usually keep this type of a lift. Yes, I will be coming through this with tubing mascaras. I usually need a waterproof layer underneath. This is the second mascara this month that has completely impressed me if it stays lifted like this. I'll be sharing the other one in my monthly favorites that has completely blown me away. I am really taken aback by this, especially with no waterproof layer and with all the benefits. Wow. If this doesn't flake or smudge throughout the day, then this mascara is a good one. For those of you who have straight lashes that don't hold a curl, I'm impressed. I'm gonna have to hit these lashes with the lash curler really quickly to make things look somewhat even to be able to go somewhere. I just slapped on the quickest brow ever and some under eye corrector to get him to the groomer. I didn't realize how late it was. I'll be right back. It is absolutely miserable outside. We have a heat advisory today and an extreme heat warning tomorrow. The humidity and the heat just make it unbearable. It's actually the perfect time of year to test this. And you know what? I am going to take the sunglasses off that I was wearing that I threw on top of my head and just replace them with my glasses to hold my hair back. I mean, why not? I may need the glasses during this video, who knows, but it works. So this is actually a 2-in-1 foundation and concealer that's supposed to fully set down for up to 48 hours. So they say it evens your skin out like a foundation and covers like a concealer, and you can customize how much you build it, and it gives a soft matte finish that doesn't cake and doesn't crease, and it's flexible and moves with your skin and is lightweight and transfer resistant, waterproof, sweat proof, and humidity proof. You're also supposed to not need a primer with this because it grips so much to your skin. Now I have seen some of the talk around this, which is one of the reasons why I almost didn't even test it, because I just knew I was not going to use this as a concealer under my eyes because I have dry under eyes. We're going to talk about these swatches that I swatched on the back of my hand, by the way, that I have scrubbed with a wet washcloth. I have also washed my face with these on, and they are still not budging. So this is warm 125. I'm gonna let it sit here for a minute. You have a big doe foot. So I am kind of wondering if this is going to work as a substitute or as an alternative for my Bobbi Brown, what is that product that I love so much in the black bottle that's been discontinued that looks like skin, minimizes my pores, and, you know, gave me light medium coverage, even sheer coverage if I wanted it, and kept me softly matte throughout the day. I just got compliments on my skin when I wore that, not my makeup, my skin. So that's what I'm hoping this will give me. I just don't know. This is a product you have to work with pretty quickly. That's why I'm swiping it on, blending it, swiping more on, blending it, and just kind of blending it into what I've already worked with. I don't find that it sets so quickly that I can't work with it and that it doesn't blend into the sections that I already blended out. And it does look nice and skin-like, so I like that. So this is sort of doing what the Bobbi Brown product did for me, was that it didn't really build over itself that nicely. It sort of stopped looking like skin once you started building it over itself. Maybe I'll take my D'Alba spray and see if I can fix that a little bit. It never takes away the coverage, it just kind of takes away the powdery look. So I wonder if I can then dip it onto product in the back of my hand and add a little bit more that way. So I think I got nice medium coverage doing it that way. I don't really like having to build it on itself, but it is doable. I do like having this handy because I feel like it looks more seamless that way. My pores look minimized. It looks like a nice natural soft matte finish. It doesn't look powdery even on my normal dry areas around the perimeter. And I don't think I look shiny in the center of my face where I get shiny and oily. We'll see how that goes as the day goes on. So I think what I'm going to do on this side of my face to get more coverage up front without having to build it on top of itself is was to use more initially and try it with a brush, although I am a little bit nervous about streaks with a brush since it sets pretty quickly. If the brush isn't working, I'll just go in with my dry sponge that I used for the side. And just to let you know, what I swatched on the back of my hand earlier, it's not budging. It is on there to stay. So hopefully what's on my face is here to stay too. Okay, here we go. I'm a little nervous. Okay, it's nice and mixed up, which is good, but I'm gonna use 3, 4, I don't know, let's just go all in here. Let me look up close in my mirror with the light on. I felt like this gave me kind of polka dot pores when I applied it with a brush. It just looked kind of powdery, so I tapped it with my sponge to press it into my skin some more. And I just can't seem to build it on this side of my face where I have more redness and sunspots more than light medium or medium coverage. It seems like when I try to build it, it's sticking to itself and kind of lifting in certain spots, specifically on the tip of my nose and then right here on my cheeks. It may be because it's not fully set down yet, so I'm just going to pause for a minute and let it fully set. Maybe that's what it needs to do. I think that helped. I just dabbed a little bit onto the back of my hand and then dipped my sponge into it and tapped it to the areas where I wanted more coverage. Obviously, I have to do some wear tests with this and test it more before I do my full foundation review on this. But let's say it is bulletproof throughout the day. It's waterproof, it's sweatproof, and humidity proof, which I can fully test in my climate where I live. I feel like this is a foundation I would reserve for days when I'm going for kind of an effortless makeup look, not something I would wear to an event or a party or something like that, because it does give kind of a no makeup look. I personally, with my sunspots and redness, can't build this to medium full or full coverage because it sets down so well. I mean, there's no tackiness whatsoever, and I mean, it is not going anywhere. Okay, I don't know if you can see the texture there on the back of my hand where this product is, because you can see those tiny little lines, that texture. I am not going to be using this on my dry textured under eyes with fine lines where I have thinner skin, only on my face. So we'll see how this goes. It's time for concealer. I'm going to apply Versed Serum Concealer, which I've tried to try before, but the shade that I ordered was way too light for me. Versed is now carried at Ulta, which I think is really great. I have it in shade 3P, which is probably going to look way too light for my skin tone, which actually looks really nice. I feel like this shade that I thought was going to be too yellow and a bit too deep, 125, it actually matches my neck really nicely once it's blended in. I think because it's so skin-like and sheer, I actually really like the way this is looking on my face. Now that it's kind of settled in, it looks like my skin, but better, more even. So hopefully it stays that way once my makeup is all done. So here is shade 3P in the Serum Concealer. That might be too light. I just realized my camera was off as I was talking to you and gently wiping off the Bobbi Brown Stick Corrector in Bisque from just this under eye so that I could show you the coverage level of this concealer, because I remember the first time I tried this, the coverage level wasn't quite what I enjoy for my dark circles and under eye hollows. So I'm going to show you how it covers under both eyes, one without corrector and one with. Yep, shade 3P is pretty light. I feel like you can see from the consistency that it is pretty sheer. I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit to kind of thicken before I blend it out. Because it's so thin, I wouldn't use a sponge to blend it out. I think that's gonna soak up too much product, but it blends out nicely with a brush. And it's definitely looking a little light, a little chalky, but even so, I think you can see on the side with no corrector underneath, there is a definite shadow from my hollow and dark circle peeking through. I will definitely need to apply a second layer to my darkest spots, and I'm definitely getting more coverage on the side with the corrector, but I 100% need a corrector. And the finish to me is sort of a soft matte finish because of the texture. When I first set it down, I thought it was going to give me this naturally kind of dewy radiant finish, but it's actually more of a soft matte, but it's not dry looking. Since I need more coverage over here, I'm going to let this thicken up a little bit longer and go ahead and blend this side out. And I'm only blending this second layer out where I have areas of darkness. I'm not taking it all over like I did the first layer. I do have to go somewhere in a little while, so I'm hoping everything turns out okay today. It's blending out really, really nicely with my fingers. I like to use my fingers a lot when I'm blending out concealer. I just There's something about the warmth of your fingers, you know? Okay, I actually like the way this finish is looking. I am creasing right under my lash line and where I have a couple little creases here, which is absolutely normal for me. I'm not gonna set it yet though, because I have a new cream blush here that I'm excited to try. This is the Blush Butter Balm from Summer Fridays in shade Pink Sunset. I think that looks so pretty. I don't notice a scent or anything like that. There are nice ingredients in these. Let's see what we have. We have a trio of butters, ceramides, and hyaluronic acid. We have a brush to apply this with. So they say to dip the angled side of the brush into the product directly and apply that to the high points of your cheeks. Okay, I'm liking that pigment right away. And then you blend it out with the fluffy side. So let's just see what we get. I feel like I could have gone in with a little bit more there. I'm gonna try this over powder once I set my face too. Okay, I like that. I like going back and forth between the two. Okay, I like that. I think it's gonna look much better once my face is set and I add some bronzer in certain places to give more color to my face. I'm adding a little bit more color because sometimes when you set your face, you lose some color, you know? I actually think that's gonna look really good once my face is set. And you know, if we layer it a little bit, do we wanna apply a different shade to the other side? I mean, maybe. Let's just try another shade. Okay, so here's the Pink Sunset we just did. And then we have Soft Strawberry here and Dusty Rose. I kind of wanna see Dusty Rose. I wish there was a peach shade. There's really not. Okay. Wipe this brush off, going in sort of conservatively because I feel like this is a shade where you could go overboard really, really quickly. I love the texture of this brush. It's really, really nice. And I like being able to flip it and blend it out very, very easily. I feel like when it's blended out, this is the shade that I naturally flush. Okay, I really like both of these. We have Dusty Rose and Pink Sunset. I think they would look beautiful on top of fuller coverage foundations as well. And also bare skin. So we're gonna see how these apply on top of powder after I set my face. There's a little bit of stickiness to them, but not too bad. And of course, we'll also see how they wear throughout the day. So let's set this face. Okay, I'm going to show you the level of creasing that has happened under my eyes while I've been doing other things. You want to be sure to press those creases out either with a small brush or your finger before you set your under eyes because you don't want to set those creases in. To set my under eyes and I guess my face too, I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible Blurfection powder in the light translucent pink shade. I don't normally set my face with a pink shade, but because it's supposed to extend your makeup wear and control shine and softly blur, I want to see how it performs on all areas of my face. So to set my under eyes, I just roll my brush in the powder and go in lightly at first. This is how I always set my under eyes. Kind of roll the brush along my under eye area and lightly tap. And then I'm dipping the corner of a triangular puff into the powder and tapping off the excess. And I'm gently tapping it first where I crease the most under my lash line and my crow's feet area, and then everywhere else just to lock in my concealer and make it look like skin instead of like it's sitting on top of your skin. It looks so much more natural this way and keeps you from creasing longer and just lasts better throughout the day. I'm definitely seeing some glow to my face from the L'Oreal Skin Ink Foundation Concealer. It's not soft matte, just the more I sit here. I don't know if it's the heat and humidity, if it's gotten to me or what. So I'm gonna sort of do the same thing to my face. I'm gonna dip a brush into the powder, just getting some onto the end of a brush. This isn't the brush I normally use for this. Both of the ones that I usually use are downstairs in my vanity. I don't know how that happened. Usually I have at least one of those brushes up here, but they're downstairs. This powder is really hard to get out of the sifter. I feel like I have to keep shaking it over and over and over. So after I tap it onto my face, I'm gonna press it with that powder puff again just to make sure it is in my skin really nicely. I feel like you don't have to use too much powder that way and it adheres to your skin and it looks like skin. That looks really good. I mean, that looks good. I used to not set my face like this, but I feel like this disperses the powder really well. It allows me to use less, and it kind of lets the foundation soak up some of the powder as I'm doing it, which gives an even more natural look. I don't know, it just really works. Maybe there's something to this pink shade, but you see how those blushes were really muted from using just even a translucent powder. I mean, this powder really has no coverage, but I do feel like it made my face look brighter. It gave it kind of a healthy look. Maybe I do need to start using pink powders to set my makeup. I don't know. So in my recent Sephora video, I just talked about how Laura Mercier launched color correcting under eye brightening powders, and I got it in the soft pink shade, and I've really been liking it for my under eye area. It is giving my Pat McGrath under eye setting powder in pink a run for its money. So I'm wondering if this is also going to do that, or if I'm going to look dry by the end of the day. I guess we'll find out. Okay, so I'm just applying a bit more of that Dusty Rose shade to my cheek, seeing if it blends out well over powder or if it's patchy. That's about the level I want. In person, this is probably going to look pretty bright, but on camera, it hopefully looks as it should. And I do need to add some bronzer, which will hopefully level out things even more. I'm applying Dusty Rose to this side too, because I really am just seeing if the product itself applies evenly over powder, doesn't lift the makeup underneath, and making sure it doesn't apply patchy, things like that. And you know, because I'm going somewhere later, I would like both of my cheeks to be somewhat the same color. I'm actually really happy with the way this looks. I feel like if there's anything that looks like patchiness, it's due to the medium or light medium coverage foundation that I'm wearing today that's showing some imperfections, some of my natural skin imperfections through it. But I mean, the blush itself looks really natural. It feels completely weightless. And as far as when you apply it over powder being tacky to the touch, it's not. Okay, so what I'm putting on my eyes is a new product from Buxom, which is what these are from. So these are the new flip side eyeliner and eyeshadow duos. Now I had swatched the eyeliners and eyeshadows, and then when I went to wipe them off, the shadows wiped away a bit, but the eyeliners didn't go anywhere. So I took a wet washcloth, the eyeshadows then wiped away, but these still didn't go anywhere. I've washed my face, they still haven't budged, and you know, they're still here with us, which is a good sign. The other good sign is how creamy these felt when they glided on my skin. So I think I'll go in with the eyeliner first, and I'm going to go ahead and get something to smudge it with. So I'm going to apply the eyeliner first, and like I said earlier, it felt pretty creamy when I applied it to the back of my hand. So on this first eye, I'm using Totally Taupe, which has the gray eyeliner, and it does have a very smooth glide. There's no tugging, and it gives me plenty of time, more than plenty of time, to smudge it out with a pencil brush if you like to smudge your eyeliner like I do. I'm also able to go back in with the eyeliner and layer more pigment if I want to do that. If I smudged too much, if I got a little too aggressive. The caps on the eyeshadows twist off, and there's spring action inside them. So I think they get their pigment from the cap, and you just draw these on your lids, it seems like. I like this color. It's a nice nude taupe shade. It glides on nicely, and it's not a glittery finish like I thought it was going to be. It's really nice and flattering, great for every day. It feels thin and weightless, so I'm anxious to see if this is going to crease throughout the day. I'm going to apply Pretty Penny to this eye, which has sort of a coppery gold eyeshadow on one end and a chocolate brown eyeliner. I'm going to apply the eyeshadow first this time. So it's a pretty small tip, and it's not oversaturated with product. It is dry product, so you're not putting a bunch of wet eyeshadow on your eyelids. It feels like nothing, and I feel like you get the right amount of product to put on your eyelids. It's not too much, it's not too little. I did re-dip it on this eye because I felt like I may need a bit more, but it could be because the color is so close to my natural lid shade. But it wasn't a big deal to just dip it back into the lid to get a bit more and put it on. It applies very quickly. That part's impressive. And you know, if you need to even things out because the tip is small and you feel like you can see some of the scribbles, you can just even it out quickly with your finger. Okay, so let's see how the eyeliner applies over the eyeshadow. I'm just going to do a quick little line with a little bit more at the corner for a lift and blend it out, smudge it out with a brush. Okay, we have Pretty Penny and Totally Taupe, both really nice neutral looks in different ways. I know we have to see how these perform and wear throughout the day, but my first impression as far as the application goes is that they are quick and easy, basically effortless, and if you have mature lids, there is zero tugging, and they're very flattering. They don't exaggerate exaggerate any texture at all. So we'll see how these perform throughout the day. Okay, I added a bit of bronzer to my face, Benefit Hoola, just to give it some life and dimension. I put some in the crease and transition of my eyes too. I feel like it helped give balance to my face too. So I also have a new highlighter here from NARS. This is the, what's the official name? Light Reflecting Luminizing Powder in the shade Electra. I think this is exclusive to Ulta and it just looks so pretty. I think I'm just gonna use a tiny bit. I feel like this is one of those highlighters that is very versatile. You could really go to town with it and have it be electrifying, or you can apply just the most subtle amount with your fingers or a brush and it gives you just enough, but it doesn't exaggerate things you don't want it to exaggerate, you know? There are very few highlighters that I reach for these days and I feel like this could be one of them. I want to apply this to the corner of my eye. You know, when you get to a certain age, the quality of your highlighter really matters. They're not all created equally. Chunky highlighters, grainy highlighters accentuate everything. This is really smooth and pretty. You can use this as an eyeshadow, which I'm clearly doing. It just dawned on me too that I'm gonna have to change out or balance out the colors of my eyes before I leave this house and see people, because I'm gonna look like a crazy person with one gray taupe eye and one brown coppery eye, but I'll still be able to, you know, tell you how they wear throughout the day. Okay, this is a winner. I like this. I talked about a bunch of new things in my recent new products at Sephora. I gave my honest thoughts on tons of products, and there were some lip products, cheek products, all types of things. I don't have a brand new lip product for this video, but I have not tried the Sarah Creel lipstick before. This is in the shade Speak for Yourself. I don't have a lip liner or anything on. I've been so impressed with pretty much everything I've tried from her brand. I thought about doing a full brand review. I just didn't know if anybody would be interested in that. I never know what anybody's interested in these days. I think you guys are going to be interested in something and then those videos don't get traction. My red light therapy mask video is a great example of that. Okay, I love this shade. The texture is light as air. It's very creamy. It's flattering. I like the way this feels. I don't think it's designed to be long wearing, but we'll see how long it does wear and how long it keeps my lips feeling hydrated. But this formula is very comfortable. There are great ingredients in here. Her whole line is created for women our age, women over 40. So it makes sense that it would impress me. Okay, so I will see you back here and we'll talk about what's impressed me, what hasn't throughout the day. But this is what we have going on right now. And I will see you in a little while with different eyeliner on. Something will be different with my eyes. Okay, here's what we're looking like at the end of the day at almost 7.5 hours. I was able to get footage last night, but not do my talking points, which actually turned out to be a good thing because I was able to reapply some things today and add more to my thoughts. So I'm going to start with the lipstick because I had the shade name wrong yesterday. The first thing I saw on the bottom of the tube was Speak for Yourself, and that's actually the name of the lipstick line. The name of this shade is actually SheEO, which I think is really cute. It's a nude pink. I have it on again today and it looks really different because of what it's layered over, which is the Rosewood lip stain from Huda Beauty. I talked about that in my last video where I reviewed a ton of new best-selling releases at Sephora. There are a ton of new releases out right now that I'm trying to review for you and give you my perspective on. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll have it linked up in the corner and down below in my description box. There are a ton of products in that video that I have thoroughly tested and have full thoughts on. So I am really liking this formula. It's creamy, it's hydrating, it's smoothing and flattering, and the packaging is nice and luxurious. It feels good in your hand. It has that nice magnetic closure. I really like this. Neither mascara flaked or smudged on my brow bone or underneath my eyes, so that's a good thing, but we already chatted about how this Kosas mascara straightens my curl even over a waterproof layer. I'm going to test it out a few more times before giving my full verdict in a different video, but that's where I stand at this point in time. Now, I didn't give my lashes a full glam curl today. I just went kind of moderate with my curl, but I have the buxom on again today and I am once again impressed. I'm going to keep playing around with this one too, but so far so good. It also doesn't feel stiff. My lashes feel nice and soft and fluffy. A full review is coming of this new L'Oreal Skin Ink foundation and concealer in my next foundation roundup with application clips, wear tests, and all the things that I normally do in my foundation reviews. I feel like there are some alternative ways one anyone could possibly use this, and I still have more testing to do. I mean, I've had it on today for nearly 9 hours. I have some shine going on, but it is still fully on my face. It has not budged. It feels like nothing. Now, because I do get some shine breakthrough, I feel like some pores are possibly more visible, but I haven't blotted at all. Now, if I wasn't testing this out and I was out and about and seeing people, I would normally blot the shine away and it may look better. I applied it a little bit differently today. I applied it very shortly after I completed my skincare, which I don't normally do, and it applied much better. It didn't have any sort of powdery look at all. I'll go over all that in my upcoming foundation review, but I do get a naturally radiant finish on me even when I set it that lasts, and it gives, I would say, sheer to light medium coverage. I don't love it at this point, but I don't dislike it either. I'm still playing around with it. Now, the concealer, which I do think is a bit too light for me, but the next shade down is too warm and yellow, I think could work for you if you don't require medium full to full coverage, if your circles aren't that dark. It wore well. It didn't dry my under eyes out. It felt comfortable. I don't have any complaints aside from the coverage and the shade selection. And the powder was really nice on my face and my under eye area. I think it's a bit more, just a bit more drying than my favorite under eye setting powders that are high end. When I looked up close at the end of the day, I could just see a little bit more dryness under my eyes than I get with Pat McGrath, Laura Mercier, and some other under eye setting powders. But if you're looking for a finely milled setting powder on a budget, I really do think this is a good one. I was really impressed yesterday at the end of the day with both the Summer Fridays blush and this NARS Luminizer. They were both very much still there. Now, I know I layered the blush, but I just thought this would wear away pretty quickly. I don't know why, I just did. And I did reapply Dusty Rose today. This is the blush I'm wearing, and it applied beautifully again, and it is still here again today. I didn't reapply this today, but these are getting 2 thumbs up from me. Now, it could be my heat and humidity, but I feel like I need an eyeshadow primer under the buxom flip sides, at least at this time of year when it is so hot and humid here. Now, I ended up sort of layering Pretty Penny over the taupe shade that I had on this eye, and at the end of the day, when I checked in, I noticed some slight creasing and smudging where the eyeshadow and eyeliner met. So today I decided to experiment, and I put an eyeshadow primer on this eye, and I didn't put it on this eye, and I wore Pretty Penny on both eyes, and I do have creasing pretty much all the way across. Keep in mind, this is a dry eyeshadow, and I don't usually wear dry eyeshadow with no eyeshadow primer, but I don't have any creasing going on over here where I did apply primer. So that's my verdict with these. I don't mind applying eyeshadow primer or concealer, whatever works for you. I would just treat this like a regular eyeshadow, however you normally keep eyeshadow on your lids. But I do love how flattering these are and how quick they are to use. These are perfect for travel. I'm actually going somewhere this weekend, and I think I'm going to throw a couple of these in my bag so I can mix and match the shadows and liners and an eyeshadow primer, and I'll be good to go. Okay, that's it for this testing new makeup. I will have full reviews on the few products that I feel like I still need to test out some more. There are a ton of top selling new releases at Sephora right now that I review for you in this video, so check it out if you haven't. I hope you found this video helpful and enjoyable. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.